What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money. This channel is all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I try to give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn in grad school or in business school, I give it to you for free here on Financipation. Also, I want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Philip Solutions. If you need someone to edit your websites, to do digital marketing, or someone to essentially edit your YouTube videos, things of that nature, they are the best in the business at handling all of your digital needs. Okay. Also, please hit that notification bell so that you know when I drop new content. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe to the video. It helps the algorithm, and I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys free content. So a few weeks ago, I did a podcast on why Dave Ramsey is wrong about a lot of the different financial things that he pushes, and I received quite the backlash from it. I actually thought I was relatively respectful because I actually do agree with a lot of things that Dave Ramsey says. There are a couple of concepts that he pushes that I vehemently disagree with, and so does basic math. Having said that, I had a lot of people actually surprisingly hit me up in regards to mutual funds. And that was actually one of the things that kind of surprised me, because out of all things Dave Ramsey pushes, that was the one area that kind of surprised me most that people push back on. So with that, I want to do a podcast essentially on that. Why mutual funds suck and are a lousy and horrible investment for you to build your generational wealth, okay? So let's get started. The first reason mutual funds suck and are an inferior investment product is because 96% of mutual fund managers can't beat an index fund or the stock market over a 15-year period. Everybody, I'm just gonna start right off the top as far as why mutual funds are an inferior investment for your long-term goals as far as building generational wealth. If I told you that if you invested in something and 96% of the time, 96% of the time you were guaranteed to lose money, would you actually want to continue investing with that product? Everybody, according to a 2020 study done by Business Insider, 90% of mutual fund managers and financial planners can't beat the stock market or an index fund that matches the stock market over a 10-year period. And according to that same study, 96% of mutual fund managers and financial planners can't beat the stock market or an index fund that's that matches the stock market over a 15-year period. Now, the stock market and index funds that actually match the stock market have historically averaged around 10 to 11% over the last 75 years. Mutual funds, which are actively managed by Ivy League educated investors who spend their entire workday, sometimes 80, 90 hours a week, basically picking stocks. Their whole entire job is to outperform the stock market. And these investors and mutual fund managers claim to fame is that they're going to beat the stock market if you invest with them over the long haul. And they're going to essentially make you more money. That's what beating the stock market actually means. Everybody, whereas in reality, the numbers very clearly paint a very different picture in regards to the fact that 96% of the times, these Ivy League educated mutual fund investors can't beat the 10 to 11% that the stock market and that index funds have historically returned. So in essence, everybody, if you go with the actively managed mutual fund, you are paying vastly more money for an inferior product. And this is something that I continue to say in multiple podcasts that I've actually had in the past. The best analogy I can give you is this. Imagine if you and your neighbor have the exact same vehicle, the exact same car, and your neighbor spends $20,000 for a car. If you buy a mutual fund, you essentially, everybody, spent $300,000 for that exact same car. And the only difference is that the car that you purchased only goes 20 miles an hour. That's the difference between me buying an index fund and you buying a mutual fund. You're paying vastly more money, literally 150 times more for an inferior product. Next. The next reason mutual funds suck and are an inferior investment product is because you pay a lot more in taxes and capital gains if you invest with mutual funds. Everybody, if you follow my channel, you are very well aware of the fact that I am a long-term investor. I don't buy stocks and sell them. I basically don't jump in and out of the stock market. I'm not a day trader. I don't do any of that crap. I buy my stocks and I hold them literally for decades. I buy my low-cost, passively managed index funds and my low-cost expense ratio stocks and ETFs, and I hold them literally for decades. And doing this significantly lowers the amount of taxes that I have to pay on them, and it maximizes the money that I make on my investments. Mutual fund managers and financial planners are incentivized, however, by their employers to tell you, the consumer, to buy and sell their mutual funds and their stocks as quickly as possible. Because if you do that, it drives up their ability to make commissions on their sales at the mutual fund places that they work. So just as with individual securities, when you sell a share of mutual funds or a fund or whatever that's an ETF for a profit, you owe taxes for the federal government on that realized gain. And by doing this, you are directly leading to yourself paying more in capital gains taxes. So another way mutual funds are an inferior product, everybody, is that they force you to pay a lot more in taxes because you are essentially jumping in and out of the stock market. Next, the next reason mutual funds suck and are an inferior investment product is because you are forced to pay a lot more in fees. And if you go with a mutual fund, because they are actively managed by mutual fund managers, these people want to get paid. Unlike passively managed index funds, which I prefer, mutual funds are actively managed, once again, people that expect to be paid a lot of money. This is another actually interesting thing about mutual funds that they conveniently don't tell you about when you start to purchase them. There are so many hidden fees that include high annual expense ratios and the amount that mutual fund manager charges as investors, the amount the hedge fund charges you, the consumer, to cover the cost of operations are all essentially lumped and thrown into fees that you, the consumer, have to pay if you pay and purchase mutual funds. So as I discussed earlier, if you invest in mutual funds, you are paying, once again, vastly more money for an inferior product that can't beat the stock market and that can't beat an index fund. And you are also paying more in taxes because you're a short-term investor instead of being a long-term investor. But guess what, everybody? There's more. Because not only are you paying a lot more, everybody, in fees, mutual fund managers actually have the nerve to charge you quite a lot of money for using their lousy, terrible services. For example, let's say you go with a passively managed index fund that returns 10% and you invest $500 every month into it for 40 years. Everybody, in 40 years, you would have $2.1 million waiting for you in retirement. Now let's flip the script. Let's say you instead decide to go with an actively managed mutual fund and you went with the mutual fund manager that charged you 3% to invest in the exact same fund that you could have gotten for free at an index fund. And let's say the same mutual fund gives you the same return, which is 10%, and you give this individual $500 every month, and you do it for the exact same time period, 40 years. People, 40 years later, you would only have $1.3 million. So just by charging you that 3% fee for their mutual fund services, you literally cost yourself $800,000 or roughly 40% of your retirement accounts by going with a mutual fund manager instead of going with a passively managed index fund that matches the stock market. Everybody, when you invest with a mutual fund manager, just keep this in mind, okay? You are roughly going to lose anywhere from 35 to 45% of your retirement income while you are simultaneously putting that mutual funds manager's kids through college and helping that mutual fund manager buy a bigger home. So when you invest in a mutual fund, people think of it like this: are you investing in your future or are you investing into theirs? Once again, everybody, Dave Ramsey pushes this policy. I don't. I personally do not like mutual funds, and these are some of the reasons why. Okay. Next, the next reason mutual funds suck and are an inferior investment product is because they charge exorbitantly high expense ratios. So this is another thing that everybody that I say that does not make any mathematical sense when you actually start looking at it. Mutual fund managers, everybody, are required by law to disclose how much they charge their investors annually in percentage terms to compensate for the cost of running the actual mutual fund investment. So as I said earlier, mutual funds come with high annual expense ratios, and the fund managers charges its investors to cover the cost of operating them. In other words, they take the fees that it takes to actually run the mutual fund and they basically throw it on you, the consumer. So many mutual fund managers have different classes and different shares that come with the front and the back end loads. These loads, everybody, represent charges that are also directly thrown back onto you as a consumer once you purchase the fund. So not only are you paying a lot more money for a significantly inferior product, they actually exaggerate and they don't necessarily tell you all the fees that go into what it is that you're paying. For example, I've had mutual fund managers approach me with funds that have expense ratios as high as 3%. Now, 3% does not sound like a high number, but for comparison's sake, everybody, I have a low-cost index fund that has an expense ratio of 0. It tracks the exact same fund. It buys, for the most part, 99% of the exact same stocks and everything. But the thing is, though, that mutual fund that you bought is literally 300 times more expensive than the zero cost index fund that I have. Everybody, this is literally the reason why I laugh at people who purchase mutual funds, because you are literally paying 300 times more money for the exact same product that I'm paying for. Remember that analogy, the car analogy that I talked about earlier, about a person paying $300,000 for the exact same car as their neighbor who sits next door, and their car only getting 20 miles per gallon? People, that's where the analogy comes from. Before I go any further, people, please hit that notification bell so you know I drop new content. Please like, comment, please share, subscribe. It helps the algorithm, and I thoroughly enjoy giving you all free content. Next, the next reason mutual funds suck and are an inferior product is because you, as a consumer, lose the ability to invest on your own. Stay with me on this one, everybody, okay? I've been an athlete my entire life. I've gotten offers to play certain sports professionally, and I've literally worked out my entire life. I've always been an athlete. Several years ago, ESPN did an ESPN special called Broke. And in that special, they spotlighted and they highlighted several high-profile professional athletes that have essentially squandered and lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Names like Curt Schilling, Johnny Unitas, Derek Coleman, Adrian Peterson, Brian Trotter, Allen Iverson, Clinton Portis, Antoine Walker, Jack Clark, just to name a few. People, I have news for you, okay? While we want to laugh at these athletes for losing all this money, I'll be completely honest with you. You don't lose $100 million making it rain at the club, flying your friends all over the world to party in the Dominican Republic. You don't lose $100 million doing that. You blow $100 million essentially by taking terrible financial advice and business deals from sorry, scummy financial advisors or whatever, and you basically let them manage the money that you spent your entire life building and not having a clue what they're doing with it. These financial advisors, everybody, took a lot of the money from these professional athletes. They basically stood on their ignorance, and they invested these athletes' money into extremely risky and stupid business deals, and they lost these people tens of millions of dollars. But this is where it gets very crazy, because if you Google the financial advisor who actually managed Curt Schilling's money, or Clinton Portis's money, or Allen Iverson's money, people, some of these same Ivy League people who blew $100 million contracts with Curt Schilling and with Allen Iverson, they are still licensed financial advisors till this day. Make it make sense. So the same guy that blew $100 million basically managing Curt Schilling's money is the same guy that you might be going to basically manage your money. So everybody, I say it completely like this. You need to basically manage the money that you make for yourself. It's crazy to me, once again, that we'll make ESPN shows literally laughing at athletes for blowing all their money, and we'll show their faces and lamb-blast it all over social media, but we won't show the financial advisors who basically help these people make these terrible financial deals. Wake up, everybody. The moral of the story, once again, is simple. Manage your own money. Now, there are some things that are like real estate planning and setting up an irrevocable trust, where I do believe that you actually do need to reach out to a licensed professional, to a lawyer. And if you are looking for one, let me know, because I can basically point you in the right direction. But in general, everyone, it is dumb to just hand your money over to someone that you just met over through a business card or through a mutual friend, and to tell them to basically manage your money. Yet that is exactly what you are doing when you hand your money over to a mutual fund manager that, once again, is guaranteed to lose you money 96% of the time. The next reason mutual funds suck and are an inferior investment is because they push you into very risky investments. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about this story Broke. Not all, but a lot of mutual fund and hedge fund managers are essentially paid commissions and are therefore incentivized by their employer to make a lot of money very quickly. And as a result of doing this, they are essentially incentivized to tell you to invest your hard-earned money into extremely risky stocks that have the ability to make you a lot of money, or more likely lose you a lot of money extremely quickly. Remember what I said earlier, everyone, and I'm gonna keep harping on this point. 96% of mutual fund managers can't beat an index fund of the stock market over a 15-year period. So historically speaking, mutual fund managers are statistically investing your money into things that are going to make you less money than if you simply invest into an index fund, the S&P 500, or something that basically matches the stock market. Next, the last reason mutual funds suck and are an inferior investment product is because they push you to be a short-term investor. I'm a big reader, and whether you're reading books written by Warren Buffett, Jack Bogle, Ray Dalio, or whatever, the studies all show the exact same thing, everybody. Long-term investors build vastly more wealth than short-term investors that jump in and out of the stock market. Actively managed mutual funds and mutual fund managers push you to engage once again in very risky, very speculative behavior where you're essentially trying to beat the stock market and where you're buying and selling mutual funds and selling stocks at an astronomical rate. And if you follow my channel, you are very well the fact that I am a long-term investor. And once I buy a stock, I literally hold it for decades. Once I buy an index fund or ETF, I hold it for decades because that, statistically speaking, is what has been shown to how you basically pay the least amount of capital gains taxes. And it's the best way to statistically build your money because you're basically taking full advantage of the stock market and of compound interest. So if you go with a mutual fund, they're going once again to push you into buying and selling mutual funds and selling stocks. And they're going to try to push you to time the market. And by trying to beat the market, these investors are essentially going to cost you millions, possibly, of dollars. Don't play that game, everybody. So in closing, everyone, investing in mutual funds is better than not investing at all. I will say that. But mutual funds, everybody, come with a lot of hidden fees. They come with a lot of taxes. They come with a lot of low-based fees. They come with other items that are ultimately going to essentially take a lot of money from out of your retirement accounts, from out of your pocket. And as I stated earlier, people, there are vastly better financial products out here to invest with your money and to retire with dignity and respect than to go with the mutual funds. So that, everybody, it's your boy Chris. The channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. You can book a one-on-one session with me at any point. The link will be below. Also, everybody, I'm not giving you financial advice. You must make your own responsible decisions based on the thorough, independent research that you do for yourself and for your family. And thanks for listening, everybody. Please follow me at www.therealfinancipation.com. You can book a one-on-one session right there. Please follow me as well on Instagram at @thereal_financipation. My Spotify and my TikTok are Financipation, just like it's spelled in that sign back there. My Facebook page is Financipation. You can check out my tribe and check out my my digital blog as well, where I go into a lot more detail as far as like just investments, HSAs, Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs, the 3 pillars, things of that nature. And lastly, everybody, please check out my digital, my e-products below as well, and hit the notification bell. So please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell so that you know when I drop new content. And thanks everyone for watching the podcast, and thanks Filter Solutions for all these dope graphics. It's your boy Chris. I'm out. Peace.